Good afternoon, everyone. Let's see here. I'm working on getting my comments up, and then we will get started in just a moment. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. All right, I have my comments up. So if you're out there, you can give me a heads up, and I'll put the camera on in just a moment. Let's see who's out there today. Always like to wait a few minutes to get everybody started. So if you're out there, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Make sure everybody can hear me. Always like to make sure of that. And if you can't, write a comment. Let's see. I guess my comments are on. All right, let me see what happens here. I will send a little comment through here. Oh, okay. I think they're working. All right, everyone. I am going to go ahead and put the camera on, and we will get started today. Here we go. And there. All right, so welcome everyone to Live with Janome. I'm Ann Hine, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today we're talking about creating fabric. And I think it said create florals, and I think I forgot to put the little fabric on the end of it, but we are creating floral. It doesn't really have to be floral fabric because I'll show you some of the things I did. But I love to use my artistic digitizer software, and whether I'm using something I created or maybe a purchase design, I like to create my own fabric, my own embroidered fabric. And you can do this really easily in the software, filling the whole hoop and then stitching that out. And you could, do multiples by moving your hoop over. I have a piece that I've done like that. You can stitch on sheer fabric. You can stitch on cotton, denim, anything you want. I've even done some pleather along the way. Way early on, I did some pleather, actually using the screen of the machine and some designs in there. So I did that. So I've always been making, I guess I like to be a little different. I've always been making a little bit of fabric. So, and I know several of you out there do this kind of thing. So I'm sure you'll enjoy doing this. And we are going to use the Artistic Digitizer software today. If you are taking part of our trial, the trial ends today. So I want to remind you to make sure you save everything today. If you're not, and then close your software and then open the software key and then select log out. Then you can either, if you are a junior owner, you can put your junior numbers back in there, activate will highlight, and you can activate it. If you're purchasing, all you need to do is order your software from your dealer. They will send you the packaging. You do need a package. You don't keep your code. So they'll send you your packaging, and then in there will be your new codes. So you'll use those. Just open that software window, put in your new codes, and then launch the software. If you're updating and getting it or upgrading from junior to full, definitely close your software and then go back to your junior program, as I said. And then in the information with your upgrade, it will tell you how to upgrade your key. It's very easy. We don't have to uninstall and reinstall. So just don't do any of that, and you'll be all set. Okay. So let me get some things off the screen here. And I think I need to move a light here a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. It's making part of me is a little dark. There we go. My weird glasses. Okay, let's see who's out there. We've got a few people out there right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open the software. First, before we go there, I'm going to show you my samples. Then we'll open the software. I think that's a better way to go. So let me go there first, and I'll show you a few things that I have. So this here is, now why are these things, all my messages are showing. I don't understand why. I turned them all off. Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know where they go, like why they're on here. I canceled all of them, but somehow there's something that still shows. So this is one that I did. This is actually a netting. It's not like tulle and net. It's very soft. Okay, so it's a net. And then I did all these little designs. These are in our machine, and I actually did this one in the embroidery link software. So I just picked a hoop and I filled all my designs, filled them in there, and I made this giant piece. So it's like a whole RE46 hoop. And so this is the whole hoop. You can kind of see the top and bottom. And then I did another one next to it. And actually I have another one. I've cut some of it off because I've used it. So this is going to be, I'm working on some sleeves and insets in a jacket. So that's what this is going towards. And when you do this, actually, it's easier to do this in the software. And then if you want to optimize it, I'm going to show you how to optimize it so that it stitches, you know, all of the blue first and then all the next color and so forth. So you don't have to do all of one and then move to the others. It's a lot less thread changes. So that's that one. Let me get this one out of the way. Then I did another one. This one is on tulle, and I used, so you can see here, it's a little, this is a little crinklier, you know, it has more shape. But again, I'm going to do some little cap sleeves on a t-shirt with this. And on this one, I did all one color, same designs, all one color, packed a little closer together. And I also, when I did this, I layer up my 2 pieces of wash away stabilizer. So I'll have stabilizer, tulle, stabilizer, and then when I get all done, I wash it out really good. And this one I pressed. Now this one I used a different software with, and I used a, this is called embellished thread, I think. And it's embroidery thread, but it's not shiny. So let me see if, so it's more matte finish. So I thought that would look nice. And I do have some threads. I have to go to the back and do all my threads. Now in this one, I didn't switch to a white bobbin, which I mean a same color bobbin. I think I would next time, but I wouldn't use this embellished thread in my bobbin because it's going to be a little too thick. So I'm going to have to find somewhat of a matching color of another thread that I can use, maybe another embroidery thread that I can use in here. That would be better. But this will be all right for the little t-shirt sleeves that I'm doing. And I'll probably gather it at the top like this and bring it down. And I'm going to use a piece of the sleeve, I think, at the bottom to make a band. So that's how that's going to go. So there's those. Let me double check my comments, see how we're doing. Oh, hi, Pam and Janie, and Marty's here. And is it Sissy? Welcome, welcome. And so this one here is different from all the other ones. Let me turn it this way. So this, I'm going to start with this one here. And I'm going to move up just a little bit. There we go. So you can see more of it. This is from the software. And this is called Create Floral or Floral Array. And one of the things with this is you can use, there's built-in flowers and birds and butterflies that you can use, or you can bring in a shape. I'm going to clip a little thing here, or you can bring in your shape that you want and make it more personal that way. You can create a little flower. I used a heart, but you can create your own in here. And then this one, I deleted any of those, and I just wanted the vine. So I did the vine, and I actually changed the vine here to a, this is a chain stitch. So I did a chain stitch in here. Normally it has a little satin stitch, but as I was playing with it, I realized, you know what, I want to do something different. Now this one, on the leaves itself, this is just a step stitch in here. I did step stitch because it's a little wide for satin. And then on this one, I did different things. This one here is the satin. Now, the reason I did different things is this is pretty wide here. And I can, you know, I could really get my fingernail under that. That's pretty wide for a satin. So these are satin patterns. All of these are different satin patterns. Let me see if we can get the camera in the right, or the light in the right spot. It's hard to see if, oh, I guess you guys can see it. I'm trying to move my light into the right spot, but it never goes where you want it to go. So these are all different patterns within the satin patterning. Same thing here. I used a pattern in my hearts as well. The same pattern all the way down. So it's really fun. You can play around with it. You can keep it a step. You can make it all satin, or you can play with each part. And when you first start with it, you have to make all your changes first, you know, all your presets to get it the shape you want. then once you have it where you want it, you can use the convert to curves or separate to objects, and then they're all individual pieces. And that way, I like to work everything as a group first and make sure everything's working, and then when I get everything where I want it, that's when I can separate it. So I'll show you that in the software. So let me go back over here and I'll get my software on. I hope it's working, Cheryl. I hope you can get on. It seems to be okay. My iPad is working, so that's good. And Yvonne, I am well. I was away last week. I went to Washington State to visit a friend of ours who is 100 years old. And when I moved out to Washington State, she was one of my first friends. So that was very nice. And then we went down to Portland to spend time with our son and his wife, and then back to Seattle. We had an extra day in Seattle, and we rode the light rail, and we did the big wheel at the waterfront. We went in the Columbia Tower. Oh, we walked Pike Place Market. So we had a really great day, even though it started to drizzle. You know how the Pacific Northwest is drizzly. It turned out to be a really nice day as the day went on. So that's what I was doing last week. All right, so I have my software open. Let me move this out of the way. This is the browse function, and I have a folder. You can see on the left-hand side, I have my classroom folder, my classroom USB, and I have the May 30th folder. And these are some different designs that I've done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right from scratch and show you how to create these things. Oh, it was a busy week. It really was, and so much eating. I'm like, whew, I'm stuffed now. All right, so let's go in here. I'm going to open my software to an edit page. I'm going to work in, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to work in the SQ28 hoop. And after I selected my hoop, while it was blue, I want to make sure I hit selection to turn it off. I use, for my fabric, I always use my category of normal and none, because I like the nice clear color of white behind there. So when I'm working, but everybody has their own option. Every fabric within the normal topic here is the same density. Now I could go down for my ones that are tulle. I could do ultralight because there's tulle in here, and I could do smooth or light in here also. So you can move it. I just didn't want to change those flowers to a thinner. I have used it for thinner ones, but it really is a choice. But it will change your density of your embroidery, which is nice. Then you don't have to go back and do it at the end. So it gives you a place to start. And really that's what the fabric is all about. You don't have to pick exactly one in here. Things that are like these fabrics will all have the same density, the same starting place that you're working from. All right, so I'm gonna just do okay there. To create the floral, you need to have a shape. So you can bring in a shape like a heart, or I did some with like a dinner plate. I did things like that, or a vase or something like that, or teapot. But I'm just going to use one of my shapes on the side, and you can use a circle. You can use any of these shapes, really. I'm just going to use a rectangle, and I'm draw a rectangle in here. Now my software is set up that my fills are pink and my outlines are green, but I really would like the fill of this to be this light green here. This is going to end up being the stem, and I'm going to do my outline as this red here. And I'm not going to worry so much about the outline. It's really what happens inside here. I'm going to go to select up here. Then I'll right click on here, and I'll see the word array and create floral. When I do that, it opens this window here, and you have these choices of all these flowers on this side. And then as you get down here, there's some like quilty looking ones. And then at the bottom, we have a butterfly and a bird and some other shaped ones. So you can pick any of these shapes that you want, any of these flowers. So I'm going to go with this one. And if you don't pick a leaf, they give you the standard leaf, but you can pick any of these leaves that you like. And I'm going to go with this one here. And okay. And then I'm going to scroll in so you can see. Then it populates in here. So I could leave it just like this and stitch this out, though I would want to resequence this so that it would stitch all the vine first, then the leaves, then the little green part. See on the leaves, they have this little extra part right here. I would want that stitched. And then the flowers after that. So you want to make sure that you're resequencing, or it's going to stitch all of one thing first. So there'll be a lot of changes. As you can see, it's only 6 colors, but there's 595 changes. So you really wouldn't change your thread that many times. So in properties are where you're going to go to make your changes. And here you can see the array tab is chosen here, and I have floral vine. We have some other things under array, and we'll go back to that, but we're going to use the floral vine. And in here, you have these different controls. So for your starting with, that's the little part right down here. I have mine set at 20. The ending width is at 5. You know, you could change that. If I wanted it to be, there we go. I'm going to make it thinner so you can see as it goes down. You can make it very thin so that it's almost like a straight line. All right, so I really liked it to be 20 when it started, but it's up to what you like. So you can just put your cursor on here, and I'm using my mouse wheel to roll up and get it to fill in that way. Then as you move down here, you have levels. So it comes up set at 4. If I want less levels, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so we can see more of it. There we go. Everybody's doing good. Okay. Let's see, we're going to do our levels. So I'm going to make less levels. And you can see things are changing. There we go. We have less, actually 2 levels looks nice. I like that. And that's a good mix. Sometimes I'll just get to this point and I'm like, this is good. I think I'll just stop right here. This is going to work for me. But you can change the length of these. Let's make the length shorter and see what happens. There we go. They go down a little bit. And then these are turning into line stitches. They're not staying very, we can up the ending with, let's see, there we go, a little thicker. You can change the curvature, less curvy, like that. It changes the curvature. And then the complexity. We can make it more complex or less complex. If we go less complex, you'll see it change. That's a 1. So there's less going on in there, but I think I liked it up at 3. Sometimes what I do is I'll see what I like this one. I'll save this one, and I might call it my, Floral Vine 1, and then I'll continue to play with it, and I'll save that one as Floral Vine 2 or whatever. And then when I get done, I can look at the 3 different ones and see, yeah, I do like how that, I do like the first one or the second one, however that is. There's something not working at your end. All right, hopefully you'll get that back on, Cheryl. All right, so that's what it would look like. I could go ahead and stitch this out right now, but I do have a couple more things down here I could play with. The scale of the whole thing, and if I made the scale bigger, you'll see some changes happen. Let's go back to 100. One of the things too is when you're making your changes, I try not to have other windows open. It's not like doing paint stitch. It's taking a lot for your computer to think about. You can change your floral scale, and it's the scale of the florals to the rest of it in there. So if you went down a little bit, sometimes you'll see them. They seem to be staying pretty close. There we go. More leaves are popping up and less flowers because I went lower with my flower scale. But if I want more flowers, I'm going to go in the other direction. There we go. Let's go up a little bit. There we are. So once you're happy with everything, you have this control here. My flowers are centered over the vines. I could have them above the vines so they sit a bit above them, or below them a bit like that. But I do like them right centered. And you can see when you move them, the leaves were moving at the same time. So if you've made so many changes you don't know where to go, right here, reset default, and it'll go right back. Oh, maybe you should try Chrome. That might be. Okay, so the other thing, this is what I was talking about, separate to objects. Once I get it to where I want it, I may save this like this. So I'm going to come up here and I'll do file. You can't see this on mine because I'm on my Mac. But if you were on a PC right up here in this top, you would see file. And then I do save as. And on your PC, you would find where you want to save it on the left side, which mine's already chosen for me, and I'm saving it within a folder here, the May 30th folder, which on a PC, you'd see that in your column here. And I'm just going to name this one uh, Pink Vine 1. I don't think I have Pink Vine 1 in here yet. I'm very creative with these names. And then I'm going to do save. It's saving it as a draw. That's what we want. I want to save it as a draw in case I need to go back. Because once you separate to objects, I'm going to click on separate to objects. Well, let me show you first. When you're in here and you click auto and you want to optimize it, go to advanced and say okay. And then I think it reorganized it, but I can't really see it. So I'm going to come down here, separate to objects, and it hasn't quite organized it for me and sequenced it, but it did change this to a artwork background, that green there. So I'm going to click off of this. I'm just going to click on this green. So I have the green selected. The outline is selected as well. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to click this X to get the green out of the way. And then I have all of this. Now I have some green lines. Let's see, this is color 264 and this is 218 and 218. Okay, so these are two different colors, two different things, same color. One is a fill, one is an outline. All right, so there's my design. I separated it, but I want to optimize again. So I'm going to click up here to optimize and go to advanced and do okay. And look how it organized it for me. It resequenced it for me very nicely. So it will stitch the vine, which let me ungroup this for a minute. It'll stitch the vine, then the leaves, then the pink flowers, and then these little green parts that are in here on the leaves, and then all the yellow that's within the flowers. So it did all the sequencing for me. So I didn't have to really work at anything. So that's very nice. So it'll be a lot less stitching. It is a lot of stitches, 35,000 stitches. This first box, that's the outline. If you were creating something where you needed a frame, you could turn that into a satin stitch. Sometimes I use that as my basting stitch. So I'll select it, and in running, I may change the length of that to maybe 5.0 mm, and so that it's more of a running stitch. So that'll stitch first to hold my fabric to my stabilizer, and then I'll go from there. So it'll stitch all that out. So that's really nice. I've done several of these within different shapes. I've put them in some open lettering. I put them in a little teapot. So there's other ways you can work with this design. And then let me show you how I did my little heart. I'm actually going to close this one so that we don't have, well, I guess I could save it over that one. All right, and we'll go to new. And I really like a square hoop. I normally have, this is my default hoop because pretty much I work in this all the time, but sometimes I like a square. I'm not sure why, but I do. And so I'm going to take the rectangular shape and I'm going to draw, I'm just going to make the heart vine. Well, actually, I'm just going to make the regular vine first. So I did that like the full size of my hoop because I planned to stitch that vine over and over on fabric to kind of fill my fabric. So I would make it as big as the hoop as you can or as you like. And I want this to be this color and the outside to be, which way? There we go, this red. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to right click on here, an array, create floral, And I'm just going to pick any old floral. Let's go down here. We'll pick the little butterfly. And then I still like that leaf for some reason. And then that, or maybe I had that other leaf. Let me see. Let's edit the floral because I didn't like that leaf. I want to go with, let's see, I think it's this one here, I think is my other leaf that I like. There we go. All right. There we go. Change to that. So there it is. There's a lot going on in here, and I want to make the leaves as big as I can to start with. So I'm going to go into my properties. I'm going to go to fill, and there's the array is chosen. And down here, I'm going to change my levels back down to like 1. Oh, that's looking good with lots of leaves because I'm going to get rid of those butterflies. My length, let's drop the length down. There we go. And the curvature, we'll bring the curvature down a bit. And then the complexity. There we go. And then here I can make my leaf scale bigger. Let's see if I can do that and make the flower one smaller. There we go. Get my leaves up there. So you can play around with this of making your there's too many vines there, so I want to go back with my leaves and go change. There we go. I kind of like that. All right, once I have it where I want it, what I have to do is to do any more work with it, I do have to separate to objects because I cannot select any one part of this. It's considered a fill, so it's not individual objects. So to get to delete those butterflies and to make the vine a chain stitch, I have to do separate to objects. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do separate to objects. I'm going to click off of it. I'm just going to click on this background and I can see it's highlighted here. I'm going to click this X to delete it and then I'll click off of it again and I should be able to, when I click on it, I get the inside part and not that red part, but they're all grouped together. So first, let's take this and we'll optimize it so I can grab one part of it. So now it's all optimized, which is great. And I need to ungroup it. And then I can select these butterflies and delete them. So now I just have my leaves on there and I can select this part and it's still coming up a fill. It's not an outline. Some of them I think are outlines because it's both showing an open square and here. So I can select here and do chain stitch. And I'm going to back off of this so you can see. So some of it converted to a chain stitch very easily. These other ones are still considered fill. So I'm going to select again. I'm going to go back to fill and I'll right click over here, convert fill to center line. Now these are line stitches, so I can go to the outline and click off of let's click on running. There we go. And I'm going to click in here and choose chain. So now all of my vine is chain. You can use any other stitch you want if you don't like the chain. What's another nice one is, and now they're all lines, so you could come in here, you can use the oval bean, and I'll go in close so you can see that. You could do that. You can use the bean gap. Let's see here, bean gap, which is a nice one as well. And then you can change the length of that if you wanted to make the length longer. I don't know. Let's just put it way up here. So you could have a long bean gap in there or short. Let's go undo. And then you're ready to work with this. You can send it to your machine to stitch out. Now there's one more thing I didn't show you when we were working with our design that you can do in organizing how your vine is doing. So I'm going to show you that in the next sample. So I'm going to close this one. In fact, I do like that. So I'm going to save it again. Save as, nothing wrong with saving. I'm actually saving to a USB stick because I go between two machines. And I'm going to call it Just Vine. Oh, that sounds funny, Just Vine. And save. Let's close it. Let's create a new one. I'm going to do the heart one. And back to my square. I'm going to use my rectangular shape. Now this one, I just used a skinny rectangle like this because I do want to take this vine and travel it up on something. So I just need it skinny. Again, I'm just going to go back. Now I could change these to other colors by clicking in here, or I could preset these to come up different colors. But I do like to show people how I like to change my colors here and the outside, which I don't really need. I'm going to put that there. All right, so there's that. Now I want to put a heart with mine, so I'm going to go find a heart. And I did this in my PC, so I'm not sure. I used insert symbol, and there's a heart here, but I'm not, let me see if they have the other heart, yeah, you could use one of these, or you could use a clip art library heart, and I think there's one in here I like, so let me just do heart. This one here, because I like this roundy one. And then you're just going to click and drag to make the heart the size you want. And while it's selected, I want to fill it. I really don't want the outline, so I'm gonna fill it with red. So I can click down here right under the red where the fills are, and it'll fill with red. While it's still selected, I can delete the blue because I don't want the blue. And then if I want to change this at this point, I can change it, or I can change it when I get in there. But I'm going to make it a satin and give it a pattern. And it had, I'm trying to think if it had wide satin. Let me see if I did wide satin. Yeah, it had wide satin. So see how the wide satin kind of made these shapes in there? I really like that. That made me happy. All right, so now to get this into here, I have that selected. I'm going to hit Shift and select my green part. Then I'm going to right click and go to Array. And I have more choices. I can do Create Floral. I can do Create Outline from Shapes, or Create Fill from Shapes. So I could do it this way. Or another way you could do it is you can select this and select this. And in your properties right here, you can select Array. It fills it in over there. You can go to Shape Fit and select Floral Vine. And there it's in there. And then from this point, I'm going to back out just a little bit. From this point, I would play with my controls. So let's bring my levels down and my length a little bit, and my curvature, my complexity. What happens if I go more complex? No, I don't like that. Let's see. You can add more of those hearts in just a moment when you get further along, but I want to show you one more part. Let's make once you separate them, you can make changes. So one of the things you can do with your vine is once you have it here, and let me see if for some reason, let me make the flowers. Let's see if I can get more. All right, so what you can do is you can use your stitch flow right here. So stitch flow, if you can see it up here, it says stem. You can move the stem to be anywhere. So if I wanted the stem to start up here, I could click and draw a line, and my stem now starts at the top. I can click on my stem and bend it like this, and now sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, and then it populates like that. Once it's up there, I mean, you can move it around anywhere you like it. Maybe you want it to come from the side, or maybe you don't want it quite that curvy. So you can play with this as much as you like. Now these, ooh, that's not too bad. If it tends to be outside your square, you can fix that later on by using the knife. But you have the option of moving this all over the place to create where you want your vine. Or if you don't want it at all, see the little X? Just X it out. It goes back to normal. Now these I would put upright. And I'm going to have to move this one down here. So if this is where I wanted it, if it looks perfect the way I like it, right there, or if I need to change my, maybe change the length a little bit, or maybe I need to make the scale maybe this way, make the scale go up a bit. So it does all these calculations for you, so you can figure out which way you like it to go. I do have some notes written down of different ways that I've done them that I like. So I sometimes refer to my notes. All right, I'm going to leave it right here. And we're going to, since I've made all my changes, the only thing I haven't done, I'll show you how to fix the leaves and add more hearts if you want to add more hearts. So down in the lower part of the properties, I'm going to do separate to objects. If you separate, you can do undo and it'll go back. But if you get too far along, it won't undo. So separate, click off of it, or click on that back part, delete that part. And now if I want to add another heart, whoops, I don't want to do that with that heart. If I want to bring that heart in, maybe I want to put it down here and I want to rotate it like this. Maybe I want to copy and paste a heart. Whoops. Oh, I have to ungroup these. That one that's hanging out here, you can always just delete it after you add it in. All right, let's copy and paste it. Let's make it smaller. And I can put a little heart like right up here. There we go. So you can fill in down here where these leaves are going over each other. I really don't want that. So I'm going to take that leaf there and I can move it up to there if I want, something like that. See how easy it is to manipulate my vine? Maybe I don't even want this upper part of my vine at this point. I could delete all this upper part and just keep this lower part. So I could just do this kind of thing and delete. Now that it's separated, I can delete it. And then I can add more hearts down at this point. Maybe I want to bring up a little heart down here, tuck it in there. All right. So once I have it where I want it, I can go ahead and save it. I can go ahead and change these all to a, they're coming up, some of these are coming up as fills. Do you see how they're coming up as fills? So I don't want to select this and say select by color because it's going to get the leaves. What I would want to do is select my leaves and change them into a darker color. So I could do this, select one, right, touch shift and keep clicking all the way through like that, and then make them dark. And then when I come over here, I can do this and do select by fill color. I can right click on here and then convert fill to center line, go to my properties and make that a chain stitch. This one here is I think there's only two little ones that are, let's see, outline color and then chain. And then of course I would optimize. All right. So and this is a cute little one. I like this little one. I think that's really cute. I think you could put this, on the over a pocket of a shirt or on a pocket of a shirt. So there's a lot of things you can do with this. Before I went in here and I changed, these are step stitches, as you can see. I made them satin and then I went into the patterns and I just tried different patterns. And I went through all of them deciding satin and then which pattern I wanted. Like some of these look really good. And it's good to, mine's my sample piece so that I can pick out different satin stitches and see how they looked. Waves looks really nice too. One of the waves, let's put waves in there. So that's kind of pretty. So it gives your leaves a little bit more of a dimension on there. All right, then when you go to stitch them out, I'm going to go put the camera back on. Let's see here. If you have questions, pop your questions up because I can answer a few questions. All right, so when I stitched this one here, I used an iron-on under here. This is it's actually a Jenny Haskins product. I think it's, I don't know, something. It's supposed to make your fabrics have a little more body, which they do. And I don't know if I got it through Janome, so I don't know if they still carry that type of product. But you could use an iron-on interfacing, and then you could use another piece of stabilizer, a cutaway on the back side, because you want, and keep it as big as your piece, or a nice wash away. You could use a wash away as well. These come out rather thick. So you do want to put enough stabilizer there that's going to hold them. You could do a tear away, but you'd have to remove it from, all of these pieces if and it's doable because they're kind of wide. So you could still do a tear away, or you could do a wash away that has the fibers in it. That works really well as well. So, prepare your fabrics. When I do the tulle and the netting, I use a layer of wash away underneath. Sometimes, depending on how thick my designs are going to be, I'll use 2 on the bottom, put the tulle in there, and 2 on the top, and then put them together. Miriam Coffee did some beautiful fabrics. I did a little one for a bag last year when we were doing our zip pouch of the month. So she did a bustier to go with this dress. Oh, it was gorgeous. And she did it all on like a nude color silk tulle. I think that's what it was. And she put her stabilizer, and then she just went into the CM17 and pulled out all the flowers and just plopped them almost on top of each other. She said it was like hours of stitching, stitched all those, moved the hoop over, stitched more of them so that she had this big piece of fabric, and then she cut her pieces out for her bustier. Oh my gosh, very pretty, very pretty. So it's an easy way, I think it's a fun, easy way to make some fabric. The vine feature itself is so nice. You don't have to, oh, I didn't show you how you can delete all those hearts. So you just have like I showed the butterfly. So you don't have to have anything on there but your vine and flowers, or if you want just flowers, you could do that. You can create any shape and add it to your vine, just like I showed you, either using the array under your fill options, or by using array, and then it'll show you create floral, and it'll give you those options. You have to have your item selected and your shape in order for those features to show up, okay, on that part of it. But it's really fun. Let me see if we have any questions. I'll go back a little bit because I always make sure that looks good. All right. Okay. So next week, I think I have, let me look at my schedule because I did put it in front of here. And I did post, before I forget, and I might have said it at the beginning, I posted the sale price for USA on the AD page. It's on on this page we're on right now, and also the Janome Continental Club page and the Sewing Machine Classroom page. So the sale price is up there. Participating dealers in the USA can use that pricing. So talk to your dealer. If you tried the software and you want to continue with it, you have to get your physical codes. The codes you're using today will be turned off. So I remind everybody, save everything that, save all your things that you can so you can pick them back up again and then go from there. I'll be back next week, and we're going to be doing navigating the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. And I'm going to have a special guest with me. Let me see if I move my head. It's the person right up there. Polka and Dot are going to be together for that. So that's really, oh, there we are. There we are. So we're going to be together for that. And we'll be navigating the Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. And we'll show you other pages as well, so you can get a better feel for navigating on the pages, because there's a lot of information. And if you know where to look, it makes it a little easier. So we're going to be doing a bit of that. So Polka and Dot together again. And then next Friday, I'll be doing navigating your CM17. So those of you, well, and actually other machines can follow along as well, because a lot of our things are similar. I'm going to start on the sewing side and cover things on the sewing side and also stuff on the embroidery side. So hopefully a lot of your answers will be, your questions will be answered on that part of it. Let me see my time. I'm doing pretty good. And it looks like there's no questions out there. I'll be moving any of the videos that I do over here. I move them over to the Janome Artistic Digitizer page under guide number 4, I think is the one for this year. And then of course they're all hashtagged, so you'll be able to find things that way as well. Yeah, my clock's not. Well, this clock here, okay, I had it working and then it slowed down, but it ticks really loud. And sometimes in my videos, you can hear it. I hear it in my room all the time, and I can even hear it on this side here. No, this side is our family room. This is outside. This side is the family room. That side's outside. But when I'm in the family room, I can still hear it ticking. So the other day I was like, oh, I don't know if I can stand it ticking anymore. And then I realized it was slowing down. So I took the battery out. So it's a little bit before 4 and it's a little bit before 4. So isn't that perfect? Perfect timing. All right, everyone, I'm going to let you go. Be sure to tune in tomorrow on our Continental Club page. We have I'm not sure who's there tomorrow, but at 3 p.m. we have an educator doing something fun on the Continental Club page. All right, everyone, have a great day. We'll see you again soon, hopefully next week when Polka and Dot are together again. Bye-bye.